everyone. Welcome back to Bible in a Year. My name is Natalie, and today we are on day 92. I'm so glad that you're here with me today, and I hope everything is going fantastic for you. We are going to be reading out of Leviticus chapters 3 and 4, Proverbs chapter 24, Romans chapter 2, but we're only reading verses 17 through 29 today, and then we're going to close out the day with Psalm 64. So let's get started with Leviticus chapters 3 and 4. Here we go. If his offering is a sacrifice of peace offerings, if he offers it from the herd, whether male or female, he shall offer it without defect before Yahweh. He shall lay his hand on the head of his offering and kill it at the door of the tent of meeting. Aaron's sons, the priests, shall sprinkle the blood around the altar. He shall offer of the sacrifice of peace offerings an offering made by fire to Yahweh. The fat that covers the innards, and all the fat that is on the innards, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them, which is by the loins, and the cover on the liver, with the kidneys, he shall take away. Aaron's son shall burn it on the altar on the burnt offering, which is on the wood that is on the fire. It is an offering made by fire of a pleasant aroma to Yahweh. If his offering for a sacrifice of peace offerings to Yahweh is from the flock, either male or female, he shall offer it without defect. If he offers a lamb for his offering, then he shall offer it before Yahweh, and he shall lay his hand on the head of his offering and kill it before the tent of meeting. Aaron's sons shall sprinkle its blood around the altar. He shall offer from the sacrifice of peace offerings an offering made by fire to Yahweh. Its fat, the entire tail fat, he shall take away close to the backbone, and the fat that covers the entrails, and all the fat that is on the entrails, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them, which is by the loins, and the cover on the liver with the kidneys he shall take away. The priest shall burn it on the altar. It is the food of the offering made by the fire to Yahweh. If his offering is a goat, then he shall offer it before Yahweh. He shall lay his hand on its head and kill it before the tent of meeting, and the sons of Aaron shall sprinkle its blood around the altar. He shall offer from it as his offering, an offering made by fire to Yahweh. The fat that covers the innards, and all the fat that is on the innards, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them, which is by the loins, and the cover on the liver, with the kidneys, he shall take away. The priest shall burn them on the altar. It is the food of the offering made by fire, for a pleasant aroma. All the fat is Yahweh's. It shall be a perpetual statute throughout your generations in all your dwellings, that you shall eat neither fat nor blood. Chapter 4. Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, If anyone sins unintentionally in any of the things which Yahweh has commanded not to be done, and does any one of them, if the anointed priest sins so as to bring guilt on the people, then let him offer for his sin, which he has sinned, a young bull without defect to Yahweh, for a sin offering. He shall bring the bull to the door of the tent of meeting before Yahweh, and he shall lay his hand on the head of the bull, and kill the bull before Yahweh. The anointed priest shall take some of the blood of the bull, and bring it to the tent of meeting. The priest shall dig his finger The priest shall dip his finger in the blood and sprinkle some of the blood 7 times before Yahweh, before the veil of the sanctuary. The priest shall put some of the blood on the horns of the altar of sweet incense before Yahweh, which is in the tent of meeting, and he shall pour out the rest of the blood of the bull at the base of the altar of burnt offering, which is at the door of the tent of meeting. He shall take all the fat of the bull of the sin offering from it, the fat that covers the innards, and all the fat that is on the innards, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them, which is by the loins, and the cover on the liver, with the kidneys he shall remove, as it is removed from the bull of the sacrifice of peace offerings. The priest shall burn them on the altar of burnt offering. He shall carry the bull's skin, all its meat, with its head, and with its legs, its innards, its dung, all the rest of the bull outside of the camp to a clean place where the ashes are poured out, and burn it on wood with fire. It shall be burned where the ashes are poured out. If the whole congregation of Israel sins, and the thing is hidden from the eyes of the assembly, and they have done any of the things which Yahweh has commanded not to be done, and are guilty, when the sin in which they have sinned is known, then the assembly shall offer a young bull for a sin offering, and bring it before the tent of meeting. The elders of the congregation shall lay their hands on the head of the bull before Yahweh, and the bull shall be killed before Yahweh. The anointed priest shall bring some of the blood of the bull to the tent of meeting. The priest shall dip his finger in the blood and sprinkle it 7 times before Yahweh before the veil. He shall put some of the blood on the horns of the altar which is before Yahweh, that is in the tent of meeting, and the rest of the blood he shall pour out at the base of the altar of the burnt offering, which is at the door of the tent of meeting. All its fat he shall take from it, and burn it on the altar. He shall do this with the bull, as he did with the bull of the sin offering, so he shall do with this. And the priest shall make atonement for them, and they shall be forgiven. He shall carry the bull outside the camp and burn it as he burned the first bull. It is the sin offering for the assembly. When a ruler sins and unwittingly does any one of all the things which Yahweh his God has commanded not to be done, and is guilty, if his sin in which he has sinned is made known to him, he shall bring as his offering a goat, a male without defect. He shall lay his hand on the head of the goat and kill it in the place where they kill the burnt offerings before. Yahweh, sorry, I gotta start that over. He shall lay his hand on the head of the goat and kill it in the place where they kill the burnt offering before Yahweh. It is a sin offering. The priest shall take some of the blood of the sin offering with his finger and put it on the horns of the altar of burnt offering. He shall pour out the rest of its blood at the base of the altar of burnt offering. All its fat he shall burn on the altar, like the fat of the sacrifice of peace offerings, and the priest shall make atonement for him concerning his sin, and he will be forgiven. If any one of the common people sin, and sins unwittingly, in doing any of the things which Yahweh has commanded not to be done, and is guilty, if his sin which he has sinned is made known to him, then he shall bring for his offering a goat, a female, without defect, for his sin which he has sinned. He shall lay his hand on the head of the sin offering and kill the sin offering in place of burnt offering. The priest shall take some of its blood with his finger and put it on the horns of the altar of burnt offering, and the rest of its blood he shall pour out at the base of the altar. All its fat he shall take away, like the fat is taken away from the sacrifice of peace offerings, and the priest shall burn it on the altar for a pleasant aroma to Yahweh, and the priest shall make atonement for him, and he will be forgiven. If he brings a lamb as his offering for a sin offering, he shall bring a female without defect. He shall lay his hand on the head of the sin offering and kill it for a sin offering in the place where they kill the burnt offering. The priest shall take some of the blood of the sin offering with his finger and put it on the horns of the altar of burnt offering, and all the rest of its blood he shall pour out at the base of the altar. He shall remove all its fat, like the fat of the lamb is removed from the sacrifice of peace offerings. The priest shall burn them on the altar, and the offerings of Yahweh made by fire. The priest shall make atonement for him concerning his sin, that he has sinned, and he will be forgiven. My goodness, can you imagine those days? I am so thankful for Jesus. I am so thankful, and I am so sorry that he had to be put in the position to be the final sacrifice. But I'll tell you what, there's no way I could have done it. I would have been sacrificing like every third hour of the day. Oh, it overwhelms my brain. All right. Moving into Proverbs. Chapter 24 for some wisdom. I just saw out my window the most beautiful red-tailed hawk flying right at my face. But he tilted and maneuvered. All right, Proverbs chapter 24. Don't be envious of evil men, neither desire to be with them, for their hearts plot violence, and their lips talk about mischief. Through wisdom a house is built, by understanding it is established. By knowledge the rooms are filled with all rare and beautiful treasure. A wise man has great power. A knowledgeable man increases strength. For by wise guidance you wage war, and victory is in many advisers. Wisdom is too high for a fool. He doesn't open his mouth in the gate. One who plots to do evil will be called a schemer. The schemes of folly are sin. The mocker is detested by men. If you falter in the time of trouble, your strength is small. Rescue those who are being led away to death. Indeed, hold back those who are staggering to the slaughter. If you say, "Behold, we didn't know this," doesn't he who weighs the hearts consider it? He who keeps your soul, doesn't he know it? Shall he not render to every man according to his work? My son, eat honey, for it is good, the droppings of the honeycomb, which are sweet to your taste, so you shall know wisdom to be to your soul. If you have found it, then there will be a reward. Your hope will not be cut off. Don't lay in wait, wicked man, against the habitation of the righteous. Don't destroy his resting place. For a righteous man falls 7 times and rises up again, but the wicked are overthrown by calamity. Don't rejoice when your enemy falls. Don't let your heart be glad when he is overthrown, lest Yahweh see it and it displease him, and he turn away his wrath from him. Don't fret yourself because of evildoers, neither be envious of the wicked, for there will be no reward to the evil man. The lamp of the wicked will be snuffed out. My son, fear Yahweh and the king. Don't join those who are rebellious, for their calamity will rise suddenly. Who knows what destruction may come from them both? These also are sayings of the wise. To show partiality in judgment is not good. He who says to the wicked, "You are righteous," peoples will curse him, and nations will abhor him. But it will go well with those who convict the guilty, and a rich blessing will come on them. An honest answer is like a kiss on the lips. Prepare your work outside and get your fields ready. Afterwards, build your house. Don't be a witness against your neighbor without cause. Don't deceive with your lips. Don't say, "I will do to him as he has done to me. I will repay the man according to his work." I went by the field of the sluggard, by the vineyard of the man void of understanding. Behold, it was all grown over with thorns. Its surface was covered with nettles, and its stone wall was broken down. And then I saw and considered well. I saw and received instructions. A little sleep, a little slumber, a little a little folding of the hands to sleep. So your poverty will come as a robber, and your want as an armed man. Very good sound words there. So I was doing a little spring cleaning in the garage today, and it is a little dusty. I would say normally I would re-record this, but I really don't feel like reading Leviticus again. Sorry. We are going, what is this? This is going to be a candid video, candid shots. So moving into Romans chapter 2, verses 17 through 29. That garage dust is lodged in my throat. I advise against working in the garage. There's my proverb to you. Never work in the garage. All right, here we go. Verse 17. Indeed, you bear the name of a Jew, rest on the law, glory in God. Know his will and approve the things that are excellent, being instructed out of the law, and are confident that you yourself are a guide of the blind, a light to those who are in the darkness, a corrector of the foolish, a teacher of babies, having in the law the form of knowledge and of the truth. You therefore who teach another, don't you teach yourself? You who preach that a man shouldn't steal, do you steal? You who say a man shouldn't commit adultery, do you commit adultery? You who abhor idols, do you rob temples? You who glory in the law, do you dishonor God by disobeying the law? For the name of God is blasphemed among the Gentiles because of you, just as it is written, for circumcision indeed profits if you are a doer of the law, but if you are a transgressor of the law, your circumcision has become uncircumcision. If therefore the uncircumcised keep the ordinance of the law, Won't his uncircumcision be accounted as circumcision? Won't those who are physically uncircumcised be fulfilled the law, but fulfill the law, judge you, who with the letter and circumcision are a transgressor of the law? I'd like to read that again, if you don't mind. Starting at verse 26. If therefore the uncircumcised keep the ordinance of the law, won't his uncircumcision be accounted as circumcision? Won't those who are physically uncircumcised but fulfill the law judge you, who with the letter and circumcision are a transgressor of the law? For he is not a Jew who is one outwardly, neither is that circumcision which is outward in the flesh, but he is a Jew who is one inwardly, and circumcision is that of the heart, in the spirit, not in the letter, whose praise is not from men, but from God. Wow, wow, wow. Psalm 64. So this is for the chief musician, a psalm by David. Hear my voice, God, in my complaint. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Hide me from the conspiracy of the wicked, from the noisy crowd of the ones doing evil, who sharpen their tongues like a sword and aim their arrows deadly words, to shoot innocent men from ambushes. They shoot at him suddenly and fearlessly. They encourage themselves in evil plans. They talk about laying snares secretly. They say, who will see them? They plot injustice, saying, we have made a perfect plan. Surely man's mind and heart are cunning, but God will shoot at them. They will be suddenly struck down with an arrow. Their own tongues shall ruin them. All who see them will shake their heads. All mankind will be afraid. They shall declare the work of God and shall wisely ponder what he has done. The righteous shall be glad in Yahweh and shall take refuge in him. All the upright in heart shall praise him. My, that was a very emotional day today, our day 92. But I really do, I am really stuck here in Romans. Not to take anything away from Leviticus and Proverbs and Psalms, but, just that kind of check yourself, you therefore who teach another, do you teach yourself? You who preach that a man shouldn't steal, do you steal? You who say a man shouldn't commit adultery, do you commit adultery? You who abhor idols, do you rob temples? You who glory in the law, do you dishonor God by disobeying the law? And this is very much my point, is we must focus on ourselves. Everything is going to work out if we are in relationship with the Lord and our hearts are truly tethered. I can tell you what, when I am not tethered, I'll be honest, when I'm not tethered, I swear like a sailor. All right? Can you imagine all the cuss words coming out of this mouth? It happens. My children have heard it. I think my mom has heard it. I know my dad has heard it. I refrain at grocery stores and things like that, but the ones who are close to me, they have heard my mouth before. And I'll tell you what, it is when I'm not close to the Lord. When I am really angry, my heart is not tethered to the Lord. And here I am. I am here on YouTube with a channel saying we all need to love each other. We all need to love. That's the new covenant. Love God, love each other. Everything else will take care of itself. I'm right there with you, folks. It's not 100% of the time that my heart is tethered. But when it is, I'm not cussing. I am loving. And I am doing the things that are right. So just that little passage in Romans kind of brought my attention back to line. I hope it did for you too. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so glad that you were here. And I hope you have the most fantastic day today. Stay out of the garage. I don't recommend it. Please come on back for tomorrow, which will be day 93. And we will see you then. Bye.